Welcome in to a brand new Western Red Out podcast. Sorry, my name's Devin. I'm getting a little distracted. We got some barking in the other room, so um, we got Jared in the house tonight. We got maybe Matt for a little bit before he's got to go do his insurance thing. So stay with us.
Hey, how about them tops, son?
All day, SEC boys. SEC, they supposed to be SEC. Crazy all day, baby.
You're listening to the Red Out Podcast.
I am not ashamed to admit in the past, I've needed a therapist. We all need someone, and it's a strong person who can admit it. I talked to my doctor, who referred me to a therapist, and I really didn't have much say as to who the therapist was. But with this episode's sponsor, Betterhelp, you do. You can filter out who you would like to talk to, age, gender, religion, and more to pair you with the person who works best for you. And if the person isn't exactly who you were wanting, you're not stuck. You can switch counselors. BetterHelp strives to offer affordable, professional, and accessible online therapy. So go to betterhelp.com/redout today to save 10%. By doing this, you not only support us, you can work toward a brighter, healthier you. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. Yes, thank you to BetterHelp. We appreciate it. Welcome back, Jared. How's it going, buddy?
Good. How's it going?
Good. We got a freaking long schedule today to talk about. We've got so many games to recap. I mean, with basketball and football and everything going crazy. I guess we'll start it off like always. And I may steal some of your thunder. I don't know. But winner for me this week is Bellarmine Knights. And the reason I say that is Bellarmine almost beats UK. Then they actually beat Louisville. So, beat them 67-66. So props to them. I mean, if you're Bellarmine right now, you've got to be pretty tickled with yourself, right?
I mean, they're the best team in Louisville.
Yes, they are.
So, I mean, I think they're one of the better teams in the state, especially like obviously mid-major level. I mean, I'd put them up there with us and Murray State for sure.
Hi, baby. Abby's come to she's got a nice, pretty dress on. Can you say hi?
Hi.
Hi, Abby.
Hi.
Jared says hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay. Loser for me is got to be Louisville.
Yeah, they
Louisville
look absolutely atrocious.
0-7 start. I did not realize they had started so badly when until I saw it on the news last night because I don't follow Louisville. I don't follow Louisville basketball or football for that matter. I'll catch the random news update, but living this close to Louisville, it's kind of hard not to hear something. And then I was like, they're 0-7. Oh my gosh! Like this is not good. It really is, and I mean it. Of course, it's Kenny Perry's first year as a head coach.
You mean
Kenny Payne? I'm sorry. Golly, where was
I was
my
going to
head?
say shout out to Franklin, Kentucky.
There we go, Kenny Perry. No, Kenny Payne. It's his first year as head coach. Yeah, it'd be Kenny Perry's too. But it was Kenny Payne's first year as head coach. So he's going to have some hiccups along the way. I'm hoping he turns it around, and I'm hoping the city and fan base of Louisville gives him a chance to do it. I think I think he'll be okay.
I have a different take on all of it.
All right, you go right ahead. Let's hear it.
I think they definitely deserve to suck after all of the scandals and issues and NCAA violations that they have had. This is just them reaping what they have sown with their program, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not arguing that. Because I think to kind of clear up the metaphorical shit, so to speak, you have to go through the muck. And that's what they're probably doing right now.
But they were never really that bad after Patino left, and then they got Chris Mack. They still stayed like a pretty good team.
Yes.
But now that Mac moved on and everything, like they've started falling apart here in the last year or so, and then this season has been atrocious. But this could be a unique opportunity for us to probably beat Louisville back-to-back seasons in basketball, probably for the first time ever.
Definitely.
So
I
that could be
agree.
pretty cool. Even if they are horrible, I mean, it's still kind of a nice flex for us because we beat them last year with the nationally televised game on CBS and everything right after the tornadoes hit. That is still, I mean, it's still one of my all-time favorite moments from last year. And honestly, one of my favorites I've seen just in general with WKU sports was when we beat Louisville at home after the tornadoes. That was awesome. But
Yes.
if we can beat him again this season too, in a couple weeks, I think that'll be pretty awesome. Just to get some more bragging rights, bring up our win total against them. But yeah, they're really bad.
They are, and I mean, it sounds bad, but you think that being in the ACC, and having Kenny, I almost said Perry, Kenny Payne, having Kenny Payne as the head coach, you think that would have brought a little bit more to the table recruiting wise. And I always thought Kenny Payne was a better recruiter at Kentucky, and I mean that could be partially the name. I don't know.
In the same way that you got him confused is the same way. It's like a Travis Helton moment. Same thing.
Yes. He, I just, did you figure out that door that you're not supposed to be able to figure out? I have safety doorknobs. No, Grandma helped her. Thank you, Grandma. So, yes, Louisville's one of my losers. What do you got, bud?
I mean, I still gotta say my Dolphins is my winner because they're currently 8-3, tied for second best record in the AFC. The ESPN today gives us like a 90% chance to make the playoffs, but as a Dolphins fan, I can't be that hopeful yet. I just can't. I have been conditioned to pain and suffering as a Miami Dolphins fan.
Yes.
So it's going to be, I will hold my breath until week 17 and see where we're at. But it's looking good like we can make the playoffs. So I'm hoping we can.
Sorry about that, guys. Yes. Yeah. I mean, it'd be great to see the Dolphins actually do something for once, but,
it's our best start since 2001, and that was before I was a fan.
Yes. Before you were born, yeah.
No, I was alive. I remember 9/11, Devin. I'm not that old. I mean, young.
What I've said it before about 9/11, but it blows me away that there's kids alive that have no idea.
Literally last night, I'm training a new person at work, and she's 17. And I was talking about how I was playing RuneScape at its peak in 2007, and she said she was 2 in 2007, and I just wanted to die on the spot.
Oh, so you know how I feel when we talk about the Ty Rogers shot.
I was in middle school for it, which is
no, and I was in college.
God, but being 2 years old in 2007 absolutely shatters my mind. That's insane.
I'm a big Pokemon fan. I was probably like 4th to 6th grade when the games came out. So I've been a big Pokemon fan most of my adult life, but I don't advertise it. But I saw a TikTok the other day where a guy is talking about a game that came out in like 2010, and the kid's like, I was 5 years old. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, good God, guys, please. But yeah, it's like you don't understand pain until you see, somebody trying to play the old school Game Boy Pokemon game.
Yeah.
And something else. I heard something today. I listened to Two Bears One Bert Kreischer. Shout out. And I did not know this, and this may be a little misinformation, but the girl, the Cash Me Outside girl?
Mm-hmm.
I heard she made $100 million on OnlyFans.
I don't know if it would be that much money, but I mean, I did hear she's made like a lot of money since all of that.
At least $50 million, but that's what they were telling on there. So, Jared, I think I'm going to start an OnlyFans. We'll see how this goes.
I mean, go for it. If you make money from it, then... Is it still taxable income, though? Like, is the government still going to be asking for that?
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. So for me, a loser everyone who subscribed to her OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, in my show notes, I need to clarify. What is her real name? Any idea?
I used to know, but I can't remember it.
Cash me outside. I'm trying to phonetically spell this. And that's hard. Cash me outside, girl. Yeah, I enjoy listening to their podcast. It's a lot of fun. But Bert is like completely like, gosh, he's like so inappropriate. It's hilarious sometimes. It's one of those that when I was at the grocery line pickup at Walmart, I had to stop it because I was like, I am so embarrassed that some girl's going to hear me listening to Bert Kreischer, talk about he's going to do an OnlyFans and what his junk should look like for his OnlyFans pictures. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to turn this off. It's like, she's going to be like, oh, yep, he's a bear. He's definitely a bear. I can tell. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so women's volleyball. I was hoping Matt would be in here tonight to talk a little bit about this since he's more of the Hilltopper fanatic. But women's volleyball is doing really well. They are 28-3 overall. They're 14-0 Conference USA. They're in the NCAA tournament, right? As a 22 seed. Or they're number 22. They're a 6 seed in the tournament, excuse me. And they're going to be playing Bowlin Green, and that's tomorrow, Thursday. The game is 3:45, or the match is 3:45 p.m. Central Time in Lexington. So, hey, if you're in Lexington or if you have a day where you can just go drive to Lexington and watch some volleyball, go support them. If you've got a perverted son or daughter, yeah, send them up there. Yeah, I'll just keep it going. We'll just go. So you can watch on ESPN Plus. So 4:45 p.m. Eastern Time on tomorrow afternoon, and I'm gonna have to put this in my show notes. And then if they win, the 33rd match will be on Friday at 6 p.m. Central on ESPN Plus, 102.7 ESPN, and then you can listen live online if you want to do that. But yeah, definitely support the Lady Tops. They are doing awesome. They are so Kentucky versus Loyola is who Western would play in the second round, correct?
Yeah, so we could potentially be playing UK in the NCAA tournament for this, so that could be a very intriguing matchup. Of course, it would be in Lexington.
Yes.
So that would be rough. And I mean, UK has always been really, really good in volleyball, especially the last few seasons. I do know that. I know they've made some runs in the tournament and everything. So we'll see how we look. I mean, we got to get past the other Bowling Green first. Hopefully we can do that in advance. But I mean, if we make it and we end up playing Kentucky, that's going to be tough.
I did not realize. I'm just looking at this. Okay, some of these I've realized. Like WKU Volleyball has a Twitter. Yeah. I didn't know they had an Instagram, but most places have Instagram except for me. Or the Red Out Podcast doesn't have one. Facebook, YouTube, and they also have a TikTok. So I guess you can support them that way. So I wonder how many supporters Wisconsin's volleyball has now.
Probably a decent amount.
I hate it for the girls who got that stuff leaked, and that's horrible. But like, some creepers are creeping on their Instagrams now. I'm just saying,
which is sad.
It is. It really is. But that's the creepy world we live in now.
True.
So honestly, like if it was my daughter on that volleyball team, I'd be pissed. I'd be livid.
I transfer now. Escape.
Well, not necessarily transfer, but somebody's head's going to be on a pike for this. Mm-hmm. Who's leaked this? Who did this? Who did that?
Yeah, I'd be asking questions.
We'd find out something. But I mean, so I brought up OnlyFans, and I know we got a lot to talk about tonight, but whatever. How would you feel if your child was on OnlyFans? Like I've seen on TikTok where, women will talk about, oh, well, my dad found out and he's disappointed or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know how I would feel. Like, that's a tough question for me, you know, to be able to, to put yourself in that shoes. Cause you're like, holy crap. she's making, I saw where somebody made $7 million a month. I was like, good God, that's $84 million a year.
Yeah.
That's some wild money. Like, and of course, like, I wouldn't want to be that parent that's like, hey, I need a new car. I'd be like, nah, I'm good. I got my bike. I can pedal where I need to go. I don't want to be that parent that's like begging for money for my kid. But like, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Hey, if the listeners, tell me what you think in the comments below. Would you be okay with your kid with an OnlyFans?
I mean, if they're making good money from it, I wouldn't necessarily have as much of a problem with it. I guess it would be just one of those unspoken things that you would never really want to bring up or talk about, I feel like.
Now, okay, if it was nudity, I think I'd be better with it than if it was pornography.
Yeah.
There's a line.
That's a little different.
There's a line. Now, and I'll open it up to boys and girls because there's both on there. And there's actually, I watched a documentary about OnlyFans. Yeah, I'm a documentary fiend. And this dude has a podcast on OnlyFans. I'm like, shit, I want to move my stuff over there. We're going to get paid. But he doesn't do any pornography or any of that. It's just a podcast.
I mean, you can kind of treat it like a Patreon, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's become a stereotypical, oh, you're on OnlyFans. And like somebody look at me and be like, you're on OnlyFans? Well, damn, yeah, I'm on OnlyFans.
There's a band that I really like that their name is Joan. It's like an indie pop band, 10 out of 10 recommend. But they started a Patreon, and the name of their Patreon is Joanly Fans. And I think that's one of the most incredible things I've ever heard.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's funny. So moving on. Women's basketball is 1-4.
Yeah, not a great start.
Yeah, that's pretty disappointing. And it's not even like, for those of you who haven't followed them closely, it's not even like a rough schedule. There's a couple games on there that I'm like, yeah, that's tough. But some of these others, I just didn't think they would be that bad. Vanderbilt, yeah, they're SEC. I could see that might be a little tougher. Missouri, same boat.
Yeah.
Miami, Ohio. Mm-hmm. That's Miami, Ohio, not Florida. Don't confuse the two, because I'm sure there's somebody out there who did. Western beat them 91-55. Then Western lost to Cornell, which I didn't even know like Cornell had a basketball team. I thought they were just Ivy League or something. Are they Ivy League?
They just had corn.
No, and what?
Not in Indiana.
Okay, so their mascot is Cornell Big Red. Like, really? Like,
I mean,
really?
technically, like Nebraska, they say like "Go Big Red" and everything too, but that doesn't mean that they are blessed like us to have a glorious and anamorphic mascot that we have.
Yes, you gotta love that. Hello, we're back again. So Western Western lost to Cornell 57-50, and then they lost to Lipscomb, which that's a very bad loss, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how good their women's team is. I mean, they used to be decent in men's basketball. Lipscomb was, but I don't know anything about their women's programs. But I mean, yeah, I mean, just looking at the stats from the game, it did not look very good.
Yes, hey, fellas.
Hey, Matt, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, sorry I was running late. Had somebody walk in.
Hey, you got to get it. Hey, buddy. So you've already missed it. We've talked about OnlyFans and Louisville being bad and all that good stuff.
Oh man, that sounds like a incredible time.
No, I'm not opening that. Go on. No.
I get it.
No, baby. But anyway, so no, ma'am. We're not doing that.
Loose in my office today. I get it.
Abby went to work with us for 2 years, but she's been going back and forth. Grandma's supposed to be watching her, but she keeps letting her roam in here. So anyway,
Hey, is that the in-law or
no. That's
that's
my
your
mom,
mom?
so
Okay.
I can complain.
I was
Yeah, okay.
gonna
Be
say,
careful. I was like,
yeah.
dude, that's in-law. You gotta be
No, I
real
don't.
careful.
No, I don't. Are you kidding me? I work for my in-law. I don't have to be careful. Um, so
Trash them then, bro.
it's a very precarious relationship. You
Mm.
know, when you work for your in-law, like you try to, you try to do things to help and, whatever and whatnot. But at the same point, you're like, you become the whipping boy. So you got to kind of watch, you gotta be like, nah, I ain't doing this. Not, we're not doing this. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so Matt, tough question. Would you let your kids have an OnlyFans?
Um, my 3-year-old.
If they're of
No.
age. If
Yeah,
they're of
like
age.
down the road, like in the future, like if you found out that one of them had one, how would you react to it?
Oh Lord. The entrepreneurial spirit is admirable. But other than that, yeah, I think I'd be pretty horrified if my daughters were on OnlyFans.
Hey, it could be little boys too. So I'm not gonna be sexist. We're just gonna,
Right? Yeah,
anybody can be on there apparently.
perverts of every gender, right?
Yeah, we've already invited the perverts to the volleyball game. So
Right.
We did it for you,
Girls
Matt,
in trench
obviously.
coats and dudes
hey,
in
I
short
said
shorts,
girls or
whatever.
guys. Girls or guys. Bring your perverts out to the volleyball game. It's fine. Um,
They'll fit in Lexington on Thursday and Friday.
yes. Just hopefully they're not burning couches. But like talking
Be
about,
careful.
yes. So what did you think about women's basketball's performance thus far in the season?
Yeah, and I've got like 5 minutes. I got to hop off. So whenever
Talk
you.
fast.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, yeah, I'm kind of concerned. I mean, they were the last few games before the Lipscomb game. They turned it over like 35 times or something ludicrous. I think the 2 games before they averaged about 30 turnovers between
Oh my gosh.
Cornell and whatever the other one was, Miami of Ohio, whatever it was. And yeah, it was really alarming, and they were fouling a ton. And against Miami of Ohio, they overcame it or whatever. But Cornell was horrible to watch. I don't know if y'all saw a second of it, but it was
No.
hideous basketball. I mean, we couldn't hit anything. We turned the ball over and we fouled the crap out of them and lost by 7. Like, if you fix any one of the 3, we would have definitely won. Like,
Yeah.
it was awful.
Yeah.
And then
That's
against
frustrating.
Lipscomb, what's weird against Lipscomb is they fixed the turnovers and the fouling. Like, if you look at the stats, they fixed that, but they still lost by 19 because Lipscomb hit like 57% from the floor or something. They shot like 37.
That's
So
ridiculous.
I don't know what their deal is. I was trying to ask, like, I sent out a couple kind of filler questions on both Towrac and Redout, just kind of see like what do people think. And I know definitely people are concerned at the least. And Ball State's going to be tough on Friday. That's a road game. They're 4-2, so I don't know. They could end up being like 1-8 or 9 before the heading into conference.
Yes. Yeah. It really is. It's really frustrating. And since you only got a limited time, so what are you thinking about men's basketball so far?
Men's basketball, I mean, obviously it's very impressive to have one loss. That's something that I don't think has happened. I haven't looked at it to know like, oh, it hasn't happened since 2012 or whatever. I don't know to this point in the season, but that's impressive. The schedule's obviously been softer than most years. Like, we've usually played a ranked team or something like that, and we're yet to do that.
Yeah.
But we played some decent teams too. So I don't know what to think of them yet. I mean, obviously, if we get through the non-conference and we only have one loss, that's a heck of a statement, regardless of who you played. That's either they're actually legit and they're going to be who they probably should be, or they're so talented that they're able to overcome the Stansburyism. Um, so I'd say let's. I'd say let's watch out and see how we do against like Louisville and South Carolina, because I have a feeling people are kind of like snoozing on Louisville, but
You think?
at some point they're going to come. Well, at some point they're going to come together and they're going to be
Yeah.
a little better than they have been. And
Yeah. Well,
they've got 3 1-point losses. So you look at their record and you're like, oh, they're absolutely horrible, and they are. But if they had won those 3 games, you look at them and they're like, okay, they're just a bad power conference team, and
okay.
versus, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Yeah.
skews the
So
numbers a little bit.
do you think people are sleeping on Bellarmine, or is Louisville just kind of playing down to them?
Well, I think Bellarmine's a lot better than people think. But yeah, obviously Louisville has no business losing all these games and looking awful. But I just say I think they're dangerous. You just got to watch out for any power school. It's kind of like when we were playing Auburn and you feel like we should have won, and then all of a sudden they turned it on. It's because they
Yeah.
have the undercurrent of talent.
Yeah.
So I haven't looked at Louisville, I haven't watched them, but I feel like they have the ability to pull something together at some point. So watch out and don't sit there and fart around with them, because they can beat you.
Definitely. Now, since you brought up football, we'll just cover football real quick, and Jared and I'll kind of do a recap on all of those. Good God, kid. But with
Where's the mute button on that thing?
I've got a mute button, but
Get her a bizzle.
not on the kid. But with football, Auburn specifically, I thought we had that game, and I think when we came out for the second half, I think they made some adjustments that confused Austin Reed. I think they confused him a little bit more in the backfield, and I think it kind of spiraled him. Honestly, what did you think?
Yeah, he definitely. I don't know. I was wondering this the last few weeks, and he tweeted that he had been healthy and whatever. So maybe I might be wrong, but early in the year we thought that he might have some kind of shoulder issue. I wonder if it's like some little lingering problem.
I
That
don't know.
maybe it's kind of shown itself a little bit the last few games, but he's looked really off.
Yeah, but
It's like throwing ducks and like
throwing
Irvin
ducks and throwing dirt.
Yeah, and and Irvin Poindexter's like wide open for a simple, just little out halfback dump off pass, and he throws it like 15 yards over his head. Like what is going on? I don't know.
Do you remember?
Was not as good as he was in the beginning of the year. So
Do you remember this? You remember the movie Rookie of the Year, where the kid became the
he throws
professional
like
baseball player
or something.
Yeah. That's kind of what it reminded me of when the kid started getting back to normal. He started having these like crazy things happening. That's what it feels like. Austin Reed is losing his like Mike tennis shoes or whatever. But
he's going to throw the floater ball to get the guy to strike out.
Yeah, well, honestly, like, okay, no, I'm not even kidding here. Austin Reed's done great. I know I'm kind of heckling him a little bit, but he's done great. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, you throw 4,000 yards, Devin.
4,247 yards. To be specific, he's done great. So I can't fault him there. But my analysis is I'm wondering if Auburn kind of threw some kind of trick things at him to kind of confuse him, and because like offense could not get moving against Auburn in the second half. Specifically,
there's been some stuff this year, like with the Helton era, and I'm going to hop off here in like a minute.
Okay, I'll time
you. Okay, I'll just let. I can't say her name. That'd be really stupid to say her name. But anyway, she can wait. She's just on Zoom. She'll live. Anyway, just hold on, lady. I'm talking about the tops.
I would understand.
But anyway, no, they're the Helton era. Really, I think for the most part, like there's been a few things you could question, but you could kind of follow the logic. this year there's been some more stuff that's like, what are we doing here? Like, what is like some of the stuff like what game was it that we threw that option pitch to the boundary and
Oh,
was
was
it
that
who was that?
was that North
Was that
Texas?
Auburn? Or
No. It was Auburn. Yeah, it was one of our
yeah,
losses because it
like
was
that was
like,
a chance to. I think we were trying to tie the game or something. I've slept since then. I hadn't pulled up notes or anything. But anyway, like, what are we doing? Like, run
yeah,
it to the field if nothing else. If you're going to run an option pitch, there's been some stuff that they've done that I'm like, you're calling like Devin. You remember when we had scripts and stuff? They'd
yeah,
have like left hash plays and right hash plays and stuff. It's like they're
yeah.
calling left hash plays on the right hash and stuff like that, and just
Now,
kind of stuff that doesn't make any sense. Like if you're thinking this out, how does it even make sense to run it on this part of the field? Like, why are you
yeah.
running a trick play that gains you 40 yards from the 15-yard line in the red zone?
Well, I mean,
Like,
you wouldn't run the double reverse towards the boundary, and that's kind of the same
and they've
play
done
with
that.
the option. Yeah,
They've done that.
yeah. And that's
Um,
one of my things is I'm wondering if with that option, maybe I'm wondering if it was an audible. Maybe it was a bad audible.
maybe
And
so.
and Austin Reed called that, and that was not a coaching thing. But I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't answer that because we're not inside the program, so we have no idea what's going on.
But anyway, that's kind of my thoughts there. I mean, it just I'm
I just see
pleased.
what
Like I have no like serious like fire Hilton, fire Arbuckle, fire Summers or what. Nothing like that. But there's definitely
yeah.
been some weird stuff that hopefully they straighten some things out.
Okay,
Um,
so last thought before you got to go: is Helton leaving this season, or is he going to stay?
geez, I don't know. There's a lot of rumblings, but I think he's gonna stay.
Okay,
But I don't know, man. I
okay,
say he stays though.
all right. Final thought: favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Thanksgiving dish. Nana's dressing was good this this Thanksgiving, man. That's some good stuff.
Okay,
Yummy.
all right. And now, if you got to go, you got to go.
All right,
Not
y'all.
a
Peace
problem. We
out.
covered everything. See you,
Love
man.
you.
Mm,
Go
we'll
Tops.
see ya.
Yep. Have a good one, bud. All right. So sorry about that, Jared. Um, I did like Matt's thoughts on the women's basketball. It is very concerning with them to have this bad a start. Um, it does not reflect well on the coach. I mean, obviously, it always goes to the coach. Um, and so, what do you think about men's basketball?
Men's basketball? I mean, I feel a lot of the same way that he does as far as like we do only have one loss this far into the season, which is good. And I mean, Akron, I don't think that's going to be as terrible of a loss as like if it's our only loss in non-conference. I think that it doesn't really matter who we really lost to. I mean, I
Yeah,
think that's pretty good to have. Obviously, just only one loss, so I'm pretty excited to see how we look with conference play. I mean, like he was saying, we still have Louisville. That I mean, they may be starting to get their act together. That we have to worry about, of course. South Carolina, they're kind of a cellar dweller in the SEC this season, but I mean, they're still an SEC team that we'll have to beat. So both of those games, I feel like will be pretty difficult. I know we got Austin P. I think coming up tonight, isn't it?
I think it is Wednesday night.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's tonight.
yeah. I
The
wish
game
I could
starts
go.
at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central.
Yeah, so I mean, Governors used to be pretty good. Of course, they lost Terry Taylor. He's on the Pacers now, and he's honestly like earned a spot and has been playing a lot. He's actually had like a 20-point game in an NBA game, which is crazy to think about. He's from
Yeah,
Bowling Green, and then went to Austin P and was averaging like 30 points per game down there, and made them a contender in the OVC. And now he's in the NBA, but they don't have him anymore, so it's kind of your typical Austin P team that will probably play. Not super strong in their conferences they used to be, but I mean, it'll still be. We still have to take care of business. We can't slip up. That's the thing. We got to stay healthy too. And another thing, losing Dante Allen for this stupid ineligibility suspension or whatever you want to call it. that it was something that happened at UK, which is why he's suspended here, which is absolutely dumb. I don't know how the NCAA, like, how would you allow him to transfer and let him play the season and then be like, oh, we never let this guy sit because of academics at UK, so we're going to have to punish him at his new school because that makes sense, obviously.
Well, there's one every year. I said this in our group chat, but there's one every year. We always have at least one kid who has an eligibility issue, and that year it's Dante Allen. This year it's Dante Allen. What was the other kid's name? Oh my Jesus! The one you were going to go protest in Indianapolis to get him to play.
Oh, it was Kenny Cooper.
Kenny Cooper. There's too many Kennys around basketball, but anyway, yes, Kenny Cooper was definitely one of those that. He was another eligibility issue.
Which that wasn't his fault. That was Lipscomb
No.
just being petty as all get out.
And that's the same with like the UK Western with Dante Allen. Really? I mean, UK screwed up. Okay, their compliance people screwed up.
Oh yeah.
That they did not realize what was going on. And so he should have sat at UK. And in my mind, he shouldn't be sitting now. He should have sat at UK. And if anything, the NCAA should go after UK and find them instead of coming after us.
Yeah, and I think that they did find UK for the games that he played where he was ineligible. It was like $500 a game, which is chump change for them, obviously.
That's chump change. And my other problem, which I don't agree with, is I don't think you should vacate wins.
Mm-hmm.
The game's played. No matter if you've got a toddler playing on your side or on their side, and you've got some dude like Barry Bonds who's been taking steroids, that's what you got. That just let the game go. That's how it stands. Just put an asterisk out beside it and go on.
But it is a bummer. If that's the only problem we really have is just him being ruled ineligible until probably non-conference. I think it was 7 games is how long he's going to have to sit. But, I mean, thankfully we are deep enough that we aren't just going to have to play 6 or 7 guys like we normally would because of something stupid like this. But, I mean, we still have Christian Lander. We still have Tyrone Marshall. We still got all the Jordan Rawls, who's been looking really good now that he's back. We still have a really deep bench, so I'm not as concerned about it as maybe normally we would be.
Mm-hmm.
So... But overall, I mean, 1 loss, can't really complain about that. I think that Akron could be a really good team in the MAC this season anyways. So if that's our only loss coming into the conference play, I think that's going to be good. Even if it's just a couple losses, say we lose to South Carolina or Louisville or something. I mean, that's not going to be the end of the world. I mean, that's a game we still probably should have won, but it's not going to be horrible by any means. So I just hope we can take care of business against whoever we got, just take it a game at a time, and then hopefully make it to Conference USA play and be ready to go and feel pretty confident in who we are.
I agree. I'm hoping, on the other hand, I know you said, lose to Louisville, but I would love to see us beat Louisville. I think it's possible. Sorry, had to hit my cough button. I've started drinking sparkling water. And like that CO2 just like hits me, and I'm just like, oh, got a burp.
You're basically drinking static electricity. That's what it feels like.
It's harsh. It's got a very harsh kick. The one I've been drinking is a cherry limeade flavor, which it's not.
At least it's the flavored kind. Okay, good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Can't the other is awful. Except for Liquid Death, that stuff's really good. But I think Austin Peay, Wright State, and I think Louisville will give us some hiccups. I think we could win those 3.
Wright State is the one I'm most concerned about because the last time we played them, I think we lost. And they are an NCAA tournament team. I can't remember which conference they're in, but they are an NCAA tournament team most of the time.
The game I'm really concerned about is Louisville and South Carolina. South Carolina is going to give us headaches. We will probably lose that game, but I think we definitely can beat Louisville. I'm not going to say 100%, but I'm going to say at least if we played them 10 games, I think we'd win 7.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
Third State.
I feel like Stans does a good job against the SEC teams too, but just because
Yes.
he has that background. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously not like against Kentucky last year. That was a different story.
Yeah.
But I mean, especially like your mid-tier SEC teams, I feel like he has a pretty good feel for. So I feel like maybe we would win that and lose to someone dumb. Lose tonight to Austin Peay.
Well, if we're sitting at, let's see, we're 6-1 right now, so we got 4 more games. If we beat Austin Peay, that makes it 7. We beat Wright State, that's 8. If we beat Louisville, that's 9. If we're 9-1 going into Rice, I'm pretty freaking happy, right?
Me too. Just for the fact that the NCAA tournament people, like the committee, they still look at the amount of wins and stuff too.
Yeah.
Like I feel like with a lot of the seasons that Stansbury had, if we didn't drop a stupid non-conference game to somebody in the non-conference part of the schedule, like if we had a little more beefed up numbers wise with wins towards the end of the season when we would lose our conference title game like normal, that maybe maybe the committee would have had a little more pity on us just because of the amount of wins that we had. So if we can have a decent amount of wins and not pee down our leg in our conference play, I think that we could have a really good shot to get to at least 25 wins easily.
I think so too. I think this team's pretty good. If we don't make the dance this year, are you pulling your torch out of the closet or what?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've still had a lot of issues with Stansbury since he's been here just because of course, like all of the eligibility issues and then never playing his bench when he does have players that are cleared to play. It just always feels like something. Like he's been here for 7 years now, and I feel like a lot of the issues that this team has had still hasn't changed. I mean, I feel like you could sum up his entire tenure at WKU with just 4 words: high risk, high reward.
Yeah, which that's basically what we've been looking at. You're right.
I mean, you win some, you lose some. I mean, you get some people like, I guess like Charles Bassey. I mean, getting him at Western and everything, he was not necessarily a risk at the time, but I mean, at the same time, you still have people like Mitchell Robinson and that whole situation, and then you still have players like Josh Anderson that are good, but still have eligibility issues and they'll still struggle with certain things. You don't see their development as much. So, I mean, it's just always something. That's the thing that is so annoying with every Rick Stansbury WKU team is that it is always something.
Okay, so I'm going to say this one more time. Mitchell Robinson.
There you go.
Thank you. Okay, that's all. We always go through this. We'll go through the regular season. I feel like this is like Groundhog Day with basketball. Okay.
Oh, it is. It is.
We go through the regular season. We're in the top 2-3, conference. Everything's going perfect. We're like, woohoo! And then we get to the conference. Stan starts the same 5 guys. Pretty sure he makes them run behind the bus after games. Like they get no rest. Their legs get no rest. And then we get into the final game and they just peter out. These guys are done. I know they're trying hard. I know they're doing their best. And I know, this is the way he does things, but it's at the same point, it's like, this isn't working. We need a new strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And was it the Akron game that somebody was talking about? He was trying to do the platoon thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Which, by the way, I'm happy with. I'd be fine with that. But you need to honestly, like, that's the good place to kind of test it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you want to test that stuff and be like, okay, this player works well with these guys. This one doesn't work well with these guys or whatever. And figure out how you want to kind of platoon these guys in. And, I mean, he doesn't have to do, like, a 5 switch, or a 4 switch or whatever. I'd be fine with, like, 2 or 3 getting, 10 minutes a game.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me. Because if you give some of these guys a rest, it's going to pay off down the line. And you're going to get these younger guys experience, which, again, I'm completely fine with. But I think we will be back next week, as long as nothing happens, to talk about Wright State and Louisville. And then the next week we'll talk about South Carolina. But Austin P, I'm going to say it's a win. What do you say?
It should be a win. I mean, it definitely should be a win. We'll see. I mean, I thought we looked good towards the end of the Cayman Island Classic and all of that. I mean, we lost that first game and was still able to win against Illinois State. And who did we play after? I can't remember.
Sorry, I got it right here. After Illinois State, we played Tulane and South Carolina.
Yeah, the Green Wave. Yeah. We were able to take care of business with them, and I thought that was a good win. So we're getting on track. I think that getting Sharp more comfortable again. I mean, he looked really rough towards the beginning of the season, especially on offense. But
yeah,
I think these last few games, offense has kind of picked up a little bit for everybody. So we needed that.
He's done a lot. He's done a really good job so far. Kind of getting comfortable back, kind of getting his groove back, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it just takes time. It's like everybody else. Everybody's kind of got to get their balance and, so to speak, back. It's kind of like riding a bike, so to speak. They kind of got to get back in their groove, if that makes sense. I'm using a lot of metaphors, but I think that's once we hit our, I think by the time we hit conference, we're going to have a lot of pieces that are falling into place, in a good way. So I'm pretty happy about it. Now, football. We got a few more minutes here, so we'll kind of quickly recap. How many of these games do you watch?
I don't even remember if I got to see any. Saturdays are so hard
Rice?
for me, man.
I hear you. And I'm sure they don't let you change the channel at Starbucks. So.
We don't have a TV, so
what? Yeah. That's ridiculous. I'm sure have you seen the guy on TikTok, the kid that's crying in the back room about having?
Oh yes.
I saw a TikTok with this. It was two African American guys talking about it, and it was hilarious because they showed the clip, and one of the guys is like, "Well, you better get your ass back out there then. There's only 3 people out there serving coffee."
Yeah.
And he's in the back room crying. Okay. So the Rice game was great. After watching us play Rice, I knew that North Texas was going to be an issue. Because everybody's like, oh, maybe Rice can do it. And Rice, what I'm saying here, people, is that Rice had a chance to throw us back in the conference championship. Mm-hmm. And they let us down. They let us down like, Bill Cosby dropping a pill. I'm just saying. It was rough. And I had no faith in Rice. And I shouldn't say it like that, but I really didn't.
I mean, we ultimately control our own destiny, and we got absolutely obliterated by North Texas. So ultimately,
we shouldn't have.
I mean, that's on us. We didn't show up. That was such a terrible game, and I will never understand how we looked that bad.
That was a game that I categorize as I had to turn the shit off. The
that
North
was when we kept doing all those stupid screens, wasn't it?
Yes, I think so.
I swear to God, if there was one single play that I could ban from the sport of football, college and NFL, it's screen passes, because it's so dumb. It very rarely works where you're able to catch it and actually get some decent blocks and then pick up a first down. I can't tell you how many times I've seen somebody try to do like a screen pass on 3rd and 15 and just get tackled for an extra 5-yard loss. It never really works. So why do you keep trying it?
Well, there are instances where it does work.
Very rarely.
Well, okay. If you've been running a bunch of deep routes and you've overthrown the cornerbacks, a couple times and gotten big yardage, and then they're on their heels. They're ready to run back. You know what I'm saying? So if you've got them in that mindset, and then let's say you run a go route on the outside and you run a bubble screen with the slot coming out the outside, and you got a tight end or a tackle or whoever coming out to block for them, that could work for 10 or 15 yards. Because
I've seen it happen a few times. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't continually do it. It's like, if you do a card trick multiple times, like, I'm not a magician by any means, but I'm sure if you keep doing the same card trick, people are going to be like, oh, well, that's how you do that. and they're going to start picking up on it. You can't. It's kind of like Navy in football. They run the ball so much that after a while you're expecting run, and then they throw it over your head.
Yeah,
That's when it works.
game. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's when it works. You can't continually do that.
but that's our problem is we were doing it way too much.
Exactly, and I agree with that. You can't do it multiple times like that, and that's kind of like our reverse.
Mm-hmm.
You can only do it like once or twice a game. You cannot go back to it within the same quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I love a good end around every now and then because I think
Yes.
they can be effective, but obviously you don't want to like keep doing it or else they'll eventually catch up on it.
I love a good in and around. I love a good jet sweep. I like, some of those that are real quick like that. Or even you could even fake a jet sweep and go with a dive, and you'd be okay.
Yeah.
That would be okay, but you can't do trick plays like that multiple times a game. You kind of got to lull them in, and then you go with the trick.
When I played college, like NCAA, I guess it was 14 was the last one, or whatever the last one was. No, I think mine for PSP is even older than that. Do you know what my most effective play I would always score on was?
I'm going to say a sweep.
No, so it was 5 wide receivers, so empty backfield, just a quarterback.
Okay.
I would have a wide receiver from the slot in the right side come in motion, and I could either hand it to him for a sweep, or I could just throw it. But what I did is I'd always have a mobile quarterback. So I would fake the handoff to him and then take off running to the right side. And if I have a receiver open, I would hit him for about 15, 20 yards. And if there was no defenders over there, I would take off and run 15, 20 yards. It was an instant first down. First down.
I always like to go into those games, and when you can edit players, and I would make my quarterback like 7 foot tall, 250 pounds. He's got like a 4040, like it's an ungodly creation.
Yeah, I think the play was like the PA side sweep is what it was called. The PA sweep side, something like that.
Play action sweeps. Yeah. So I'm about to click back on basketball. So football. Okay, Auburn. We were with them all the way till halftime, and then Auburn pulled away, and that fourth quarter, that was a turn that shit off moment for me.
Mm-hmm.
That game, we should have won that game. And I do not. We should have won that game. There's a couple of these games this year that I wish we could get back. Indiana's one of them too. Of course, Indiana's always hot garbage.
That's one we always regret losing, and we always do lose.
Yeah. They are 4-8 this year.
Mm-hmm.
So they've beaten they lost from Cincinnati. They played. Sorry, I thought I heard like a thing, ESPN thing in the background. They lost to Cincinnati, Nebraska, Michigan, Maryland, Rutgers, Penn State, Ohio State. They beat Michigan State, and they lost to Purdue. Like, that's one of those that you're hot garbage. Like, I don't know why you think you're so great.
Also, speaking of Big Ten, shout out to Jeff Brom taking Purdue to the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah, no kidding. That's pretty awesome. But back to Auburn. Yeah, Auburn was one of those games that the score makes it look worse than it really was. Like, there was a couple hiccups that were just, I think there was a pick 6 at one point, and it was very ugly. That second half was so ugly. The first half was beautiful, but you got to stay with them. You can't let them do that. Mm-hmm. And then FAU should have won that game. The FAU won the moral victory on that game, but in all honesty, like, Western had no business winning that game. And in my opinion, I always get annoyed with announcers who always have their heads up the other team's ass.
Yeah.
But that's how it always goes for Western. I don't know why Western can never get announcers that are pro-Western.
I mean, we had Brandon Dowdy that one time.
Yes, which was great, and I loved it. But Auburn, which that was SEC Network or whatever, or CBS Sports Network, so that's understandable. But FAU was the same way.
Mhm.
You know, they were completely in love with the quarterback. Who was that quarterback's name?
I don't remember.
Perry. Nauska Perry. I think
Mhm.
that's his name.
Yeah.
And then the McCamish the third, which by the way, that kid can run.
Mhm.
That McCamish the third is a great running back. I'm not gonna cut him down. He's doing great.
They've
And that
always had
Perry,
good running backs. I mean, all the way back to Devin Singletary too. Looking at
yeah.
him with the Bills now, I mean, he's phenomenal.
And then the Perry kid who's playing quarterback for him, he had like messed his thumb up or ligament or broke or something. I don't know. He had a splint on his thumb, and he was having issues with it. So a lot of his passes were bullets. Like they were super accurate, and I was really amazed because I figured he would have more issues with it than he did, but he really didn't. Let's see.
You know what I think the most interesting thing from the FAU game was?
What's that?
We beat them with a 2-point conversion in overtime, 32-31, just like we beat UK the
With
first
Taggart.
time with
Yep.
Taggart, and Taggart ended up getting fired after the game.
Yes. Yeah.
I thought that was ironic.
I honestly I hated that for him. But that's the job. You know, when you're a collegiate football coach, like part of me would leave my stuff packed. I mean, I hate to say that because
Honestly.
you want to be confident in yourself, but at the same point, like that's how you live. You live every game like, oops.
Which Florida school does he end up at now that he's been fired from FAU?
That was my next question. Like, does Taggart have like a bingo card with Florida schools on it?
He can go to University of West Florida.
I was wondering.
We got
My
Reed
thought
from.
was is he going to go to Florida A&M or who else? Wonder how many of Florida schools are there.
Too many.
But I could see him at West Florida. I could see him there. Now this was always my thought, and I don't know how much it would happen, but hypothetically, what if Helton leaves and then Taggart comes back to Western?
Oh my god! I don't think I would want Willie T at this point.
Well, we would have his son too.
Well,
Little Will. Well, I guess he's not little anymore.
no.
But I don't know how good his son is. If his son's as good as his dad was, then we'd be okay. But that game, and the best part for me is watching this game on ESPN Plus. We're in overtime, and I agreed with Helton's overtime decision after we scored, going for the 2-point conversion, because we would not have won in a second overtime.
Yeah.
We would not. We had to get out of that game quick, and it had to be done right then. And that was freaking genius, and I loved it. When FAU scored, I figured we were done, and then like we just pulled up our bootstraps and got scored, and we were done, and which was great. I honestly think a lot of our issues on Saturday with FAU was the weather.
Yeah.
It was like 90 degrees. Let me see what it says here.
It's basically Miami, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was very warm. It's not showing up here. Of course it's not. But I think it was like 89 degrees at kickoff, and we had come from like 30, 40, 50 degrees. Mm-hmm. That's a major difference. So of course, like that heat's going to zap you. Mm-hmm. Western ended up with like 570 yards, but we had 2 turnovers, so we got to straighten that out. Bowl predictions for you.
I mean, I don't want to go back to Boca again.
Oh God, no, me either.
I mean, I feel like we just keep getting that draw for some inexplicable reason. But I'd like to do something new, like either New Mexico or maybe New Orleans.
I was thinking New Orleans. New Orleans would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Some of those would be pretty awesome. We'll just have to see. What the decisions are. What, next week?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So sometime this week, hopefully, we will know where Western's going bowling. I mean, how can we not? We're 8-5. that we got to go bowling.
Well, you would say that, but we didn't go bowling when we had Petrino as the head coach at 8-4. So I mean, you never know.
Well, they hated Petrino, and I don't blame them.
Well, yeah.
But now Matt loves Petrino, so we all know that's true. But we'll come back to that. Probably, hopefully next week we'll have an answer for you on which bowl game Western's going to and who we're going to play. Leave your comment. Who you think's where we're going to go?
I hope it's not like South Alabama or some.
I've seen some of those. Yeah. South Alabama, Southern Miss. What is it? Southern Miss? Yeah. What are they? The Panthers or something? Or I don't remember.
Southern Miss is the Golden Eagles.
Okay, that's who it was. The Golden Eagles. Yeah. My wife is showing me this graphic while I'm trying to drive. Where do you think Western's going to the bowl game? I'm like, who's even on that? You know, I can't. I'm driving. I can't see. We're going to do a quick Thanksgiving draft. Jared, do you want to go first?
Sure. With the first pick, I would have to take. I know Matt already said it, but dressing. The dressing.
You took mine.
Point. I mean, it has to be on point. I like it more moist with some gravy on it. Always the move. Always the move.
Now, okay. Now, this may be regional. I don't know. When you cook your dressing, your stuffing, whatever you want to call it, is it got to be in the turkey or is it separate?
I do it separate.
It's separate. At least in my family, it's always been separate. I mean, you can eat them together, but like you don't cook the turkey. I mean, you obviously got to cook the stuffing first, then you put it in the turkey, and then you cook them both. But I've never seen that. I've never been at a Thanksgiving that they did that. Mm-hmm. For my first pick, I guess I'll take turkey.
So basic.
You took stuffing. I've already written out my notes. I was going to do stuffing, but I guess I'll take
obvious number one.
It's got to be. I mean, stuffing is obviously number one. It's definitely the RG3 of its draft. Mm-hmm. Like you got to take it when it's on the table. Second pick, I will choose ham. Not a very common pick, but my wife has always been a huge. She hates turkey. Like, I don't understand that. She's never liked the taste of turkey, so she always does ham. And I've kind of gotten used to the brown sugar spiral hams for Thanksgiving.
Oh, those are good.
Jared, what's your second pick?
You know, I'm biased because this is what I cooked for my big family's Thanksgiving thing, but the mac and cheese. I love a good mac and cheese. The way I cook mine is that I go to... over in Logan County, it's like the Country Breeze Amish or Mennonite market. They have like the Amish smoked cheddar cheese, and I put that in there. God, nice. It's so good. It's so good.
Okay, your third pick. What do you got?
Man, the third pick. I mean, I love the cranberry sauce. I know some people hate it, but I love me some cranberry sauce.
I cannot stand cranberry sauce. Now, do you like it in the can, or is it just fresh?
Either. I think the can kind of is okay.
See, I think the can is almost like stereotypical Thanksgiving now.
Yeah.
But like, I do not like it. Like, it looks like bad Jell-O to me. I just and since I've heard how they harvest cranberries, I'm like, hell no. Have you heard this?
Yeah, I've seen it.
They use spiders to kill the bugs in cranberry fields. And then the easiest way to harvest cranberries is to flood the field because cranberries float. Mm-hmm. So they'll flood the field and you'll be walking down through there collecting cranberries. And you got these giant, pardon my French, giant ass wolf spiders climbing up you. No way. I do not do spiders. I'd be like, nope.
Yeah, wolf spiders are about the size of a tarantula, like a small tarantula. They're pretty massive.
Yes, they could beat up a tarantula in an alley, some of them, and take its wallet. It's pretty rough. For my third pick, I'm taking mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Mashed potatoes. I mean, you can do garlic, but you got to do it. You got to do it Southern style. It's got to have like a ton of butter in it. If you don't put a stick of butter in that, you're doing it wrong. Mm-hmm. And of course, you got to have seasoning in it. You got to have Some little salt, little pepper. I'm fine with the garlic.
Brown
You got to
gravy or not?
Oh yeah, you got to do brown gravy.
Mm-hmm.
Brown gravy's all day.
Yeah.
Okay, my fourth pick is yeast rolls. Have you seen the yeast rolls in the little tray?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, I could eat a tray of those by themselves.
Yeah, those are great.
What's your fourth pick?
Man, you're stealing all the good ones now. But I mean, you got to go with the green beans, but like cooked with like bacon or a ham hock in it.
Oh yeah,
that's where it's at. Those are some good green beans for sure.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And your final pick?
Considering this to end, you got to go with the dessert. Take a slice of pumpkin pie with it.
Oh, there you go.
Obviously.
Okay, mine is a little sweet too, but it's not dessert. It's sweet potato casserole. I love me some sweet potato. So yeah, you got, and my wife's grandmother used to do it with like pecans and stuff on top. Oh my gosh, delicious! Like my mouth's watering right now.
Yeah.
But that's all I've got, guys. If you want to support us directly, you can go on Patreon. If you would like to use our BetterHelp sponsor, if you do use it, use our affiliate link, betterhelp.com/readoutpodcast, or it's actually just readout. And then you'll get 10% off of your first month. And by using that, you help us. So we appreciate that support. Be back here next week, tonight, or when this episode airs, you will already have heard the Austin Peay results, so we won't be able to give you that. We'll also know next week the football bowl game, and we'll also be able to talk about the next basketball games, which are Wright State, which is on December 10th, and Louisville will be on December 14th. And then we'll know more about Western's volleyball. They're going to be playing tomorrow, I think I said. Yeah, 3:45. And if they win, they play on Friday. And hopefully we will have some results for you next week, and we'll be able to talk a little more volleyball then. Western is playing on ESPN Plus, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. So definitely check that out on YouTube.
Also, I know you probably don't care, but U.S. men's national team plays the Netherlands on Saturday. I meant to mention that in our winners and losers, and I just blanked on it. It's a miracle. I was on the edge of my seat that entire match yesterday against Iran. I mean, I didn't think we could pull it out, but we did. Mexico got eliminated and we advanced. I think that's hilarious because we didn't even qualify last year.
Did you see the trolling by one of the soccer players? They score the goal, and he runs and he pulls his shirt up, and on his undershirt it says it's called soccer.
Yes,
I thought that was the greatest thing ever. That was
soccer.
So funny.
Now we advanced to the round of 16. It's like going to the Sweet 16 of the world stage. So, but we're gonna get tossed by the Netherlands probably because they're really good. But at least we can say we advanced.
Yes. So now we own Iran, so that's good.
Yeah. That's exactly how it works.
That's how it works. So yeah. But anyway, check back next week. Follow the Towel Rack for their articles. They're going to have stuff coming out all the time. Follow Readout, Twitter, Facebook. We do most of the socials. We're going to try and expand into different avenues. Towel Rack's on all the socials, I'm sure, except for TikTok.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not going to do that.
All right. So check back with us next week, guys, and we'll have another episode up. We appreciate your support. And as always, go Tops.
Go Tops.
Really loud. Hey, appreciate you, Jared.